All right, welcome. As you can tell from the title, this is Caesar Place, and today, for this video specifically, I'm going to be reviewing a little bit of season 3 of Oshinoko. Uh, you may or may not have seen if you're subscribed to my channel that I did a review of season 2 as well, literally same day or the day before. Uh, Long story short, as I've given an explanation in that video, is I just really wanted to finish this review in a series that I forgot to finish while it was airing. So that aside, after finishing season 3, I was even more excited to want to bring these videos out. I thought about doing a weekly review of Oshinoko season 3, but just knew I couldn't commit to doing a weekly review and planning it out. I actually shot this video as well yesterday night, but it just didn't come out the way that I wanted, and I was also talking for about an hour, which is what I'm not gonna do with this video, I hope. Um, but yeah, season 3, super fun in my opinion. I felt like it was definitely a slower pace than season 2 was in the beginning. Not just in the beginning, but throughout the whole sequence. You have the arc of basically Ruby trying to get deeper into the industry and find out who Goro's murderer was, who killed her mom as well, and utilizing her connections, her being part of Bikomashi, the new idol group, her fame, and the people that she knows, using them to try and slowly get deeper and deeper into this world where she's gonna try and find revenge for herself, and all while Aqua is unaware of everything that's happening with her, while he's still on his um, in a way he's kind of come to accept that he's probably at peace with the fact that his father's probably dead. And I say this because I did forget to bring this up in the season 2 review. One of the interesting points that we found out in season 2 was that now you need to look up his name again. That Aqua and Ruby have a half sibling. He's also an actor and goes by the name. I'm stalling for time now. Uh, and he goes by the name of Himekawa. So season 2, we find out that apparently Himekawa and Aqua and Ruby are apparently related by the same father, and there was a moment, not to go back to season 2 too much, also very interesting to find out, where Aqua said he did his research and he found out that his father was supposedly dead. Akane being optimistic that Aqua believed this, even though in her head she assumed that this was just an optimistic take on the whole situation, but at the same time being happy that he was willing to let go of it. So going into season 3 and the transition to being Ruby now, who's mainly focused so much on revenge, and Aqua just kind of accepting his life and the fact that his real dad and his reason for revenge is probably just gone. Um, it was interesting because at the same time, I said this in my original video as well, I didn't want to see Ruby go through what she went through to go to get where she wants to go. And I don't mean that in the sense of like bad storytelling or anything, or that I didn't like where the direction was going. I just felt like, as somebody who cared about the character, I didn't want to see her go down this road. And then you have the conversation between Aqua and my God, sorry, and Ishigo, where Aqua came to, again, talking to Ishigo about coming to acceptance that, all right, I'm letting go of this, and Ishigo questioning him, basically doing what Akane thought about doing for a second, and telling him, like, are you really that optimistic? Are you really that gullible to think that your real dad is dead? The person who was responsible for Rai's murder, you think that he's gone? Do you know how easy it is to falsify documents? Or and now Aqua is having like a mental breakdown because he's like, no, this cannot be true because I thought I just got rid of all this. And the reason why I feel like season three felt slower is because I feel that while season two had two small condensed arcs put together that felt like I also it felt like always something was moving and something was happening always. Here I felt like it was really like this is the central point of what's going to happen. This is what the end goal of the season is, and we're gonna explain it throughout these 11 episodes. I think it was 11 episodes. So you get certain things a little bit more drawn out. Now, I didn't mind it. I liked it, but I can understand where people may have issues with it. If you're not into the slow burn kind of directing and storytelling, then it's maybe not something for you. Although there were some really, really good revelations. Like at the end of the season, obviously you're watching this because you already watched the season, right? So I can talk about this. At the end of the season, finally the acknowledgement that Aqua is Goro and that Ruby is Serena, and the acknowledgement that Aqua is finally realizing that it is her. Like he says it during his speech at the end when Ruby's breaking down. Um, Aqua had always a feeling that that could have been Serena. He always it was always the what if, but finally his gut feeling telling him like it is her, and calling her by her name when she's breaking down, and her asking him like why how do you know my name, and just the I had it in my notes that I deleted already, but the phrase of like I'm glad you kept this for me, like the keychain that she found on Goro's original dead body. She took it and kept it with her. Um, and this coming off from the fact that I skimmed over it, but the fact that, long story short, Kana got into some trouble. She that whole episode was a whole other thing too. Um, Kana got together with this producer who could have possibly given her a role, but he was known for sleeping with actresses to give them roles and certain benefits. And one of Kana's acquaintances, like trying to hook something up. Not really. I'm paraphrasing a lot, but she ended up in a hotel. This guy's married with kids. Paparazzi outside. They caught whiff of it. They got pictures of it, and there was a possibility that because Kana being an idol, that if this story blew up in the media, that it could have been a problem for the group and for her, who at the same time is trying to also be an actress. So Aqua being Aqua, in order to kind of salvage her and help her out a little bit, um, and also in a way to get his revenge after doing planning side missions that we don't get to see always. He goes to the reporter and says like, listen, like drop the story, I got something better for you, and reveals that Aqua and Ruby are I's children, which is a story that completely blows up, and the Kana and the director producer story just goes into the shadows, gets completely dropped, and Ruby's like super pissed obviously about this. That whole thing was crazy, and I'm not even gonna lie because I just skimmed over it. I'm gonna go back to it right now. That episode of Kana in that room with the director, it feels very very weird because and tense. And I say weird because it's like I didn't know how to feel about it. I felt somewhat uncomfortable too because I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I'm just glad that the guy was like, no, it's cool. We don't have to do this if you really don't want to. Because Kana was breaking down. She was like, there's somebody I love. I cannot do this. And I'm glad that the director wasn't like a scumbag and it didn't have to lead to like her making like yelling for help and somebody needed to come in and do something. Also, I feel like we got a little blue balled a little bit because the Kana and the Aqua fans because after she after she finds out that the paparazzi has these pictures of her, coming from his studio hotel after all night out. There was a moment where she went MIA. She was running away from reporters, and Aqua's looking for her because everybody else is worried too. Memcho, Miyako, Ruby, everyone's worried about her, but they cannot find her because during one moment where she was running away from the paparazzi, from a reporter that was asking her questions, she dropped her phone, so she couldn't be reached. Aqua was looking for her and realized, like, I know a place where she could be, where she gets right as well. And we could have gone like a little moment where, he does this Aqua saves the girl kind of thing, but Kana gets some character development, and she stands up for her own self, and she pulls herself out of that hole, which is super super nice. But the shippers got a little bit blue balled, and on top of that, like the BS at the end of the season where it's implied that Aqua's just using Kana for his benefit again, which again really sucks because that was like, man, any chance of development like kind of went down the drain for between the two of them, and I am a shipper of the two. Um, but yeah, no, season three, like, it was a really really fun. It was really good. Again, a slower burn than the usual stuff. But yeah, no. Um, 1 second. Um, uh, and but yeah, no. So overall, I would say that maybe I would give this season about 8.5 out of 10, maybe eight and a half out of 10. Um, I really, really, I really, really enjoyed it. We got a lot of revelations, and then the whole build up towards I guess what I'm assuming is going to be like the final arc of this series, which is the which is the biopic of I and Ruby, like trying to immerse herself in her mom's role, and just getting the revelations of like them knowing now that they're one is the other person. And man, there's just so much that I could talk about because there's so many little moments to the point where the the moment where finally Ruby and Aqua like settle things, they're completely cool. And a little bit more than that, because now Ruby is aware this is Goro, and so she has like this senpai crush kind of BS, and now it's this weird brother sister thing. But the moment where they're back cool together, and Kana and Memsho walk in, and their reaction, the animation behind it was like super well put together. Uh, it was super super funny, and just I just always love seeing Kana freaking out over like anything Aqua related. So to me, that was super super funny, and yeah, like Ruby was a little too personal. Overall, I one thing I need to really point out about this season, I feel is very important because I'm someone who loves anime OPs and endings. Um, the first episode of season three played like a music sequence, and I thought that was the I thought that was going to be the opening of the season. It felt like it could have been the opening for a season after after the first episode. I was mentally prepared to listen to this song every week. It was a real banger, and you also got the tease of Kamiki like in there too. And I'm like, all right, wow, this is bangs. Like I love this. And then you get the real opening, and I'm like, oh wow. And the real opening is something like that I find super interesting too, because you just one of those OPs that you can watch without knowing the series, without being spoiled on much, other than probably the main characters or the people who are in the season. But it doesn't reveal much about the plot unless you really try to dive deep into everything. And at the same time, it's it's like really well put together, and you can listen to the song by itself. The animation is like top tier. The ending song was also super, super well put together. The the animation, the style of the cardboard cutouts like felt really really nice and unique, and again really well animated. Uh, yeah, no, the music this season was super super good, and but I will say that again, Mephisto Edie is from season one still my favorite. Cannot compete with that at all. Uh, and the opening idol from season one, like Yasabi, like just it's just too unique, too good. Like I felt like that those two, that opening and that ending was like perfectly paired for a season. And yeah, man, well, looking forward to seeing what the next season is going to bring. I believe it's going to be the last arc. I believe it's going to be the final arc. Again, a lot of people are asking for an anime opening, and sorry, an anime original ending. We'll see how that goes. Uh, I don't know how to feel about it because I'm either way. I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't read the manga, but it's gonna be interesting to see people's reactions who didn't read the manga and who don't know anything, because for I didn't read the manga, but I was spoiled on things, and I'm purposely not reading the manga. I purposely didn't read the manga because I want to be surprised. I want to see how they do things, and I have full trust in the studio that's working on the Oshinoko anime adaptation because they've been doing an exceptional job. Regardless of how the ending goes, I feel like the Oshinoko could go down as one of the better series that's been put together of all time when it's completed. So we'll see. Other than that, easy 8.5 out of 10. I don't want to give it a 9 just because I do feel like season 2, in my opinion, is stronger. But voice acting, great. Animation, top tier. Story pacing, well, for this style of storytelling, it's well. Um, really, really love this series. But enough about that. Please leave in the comments down below. Tell me what you thought about season 3. I'm sure I probably skipped a couple of interesting points or sequences that occurred as well this season that I probably didn't have time to talk about just because I could talk about these for, like I said earlier, hours. So I'm trying to keep this video as condensed as possible as within my time limit. But other than that, if you like this video, please comment, like down below. Follow me here, subscribe on YouTube, and follow me on Twitch. I'm gonna hopefully get started to stream some PS5 games and Switch games. Shin Megami Tensei 5 I really want to get back into. Other than that, thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. And maybe I'll see you next time around. Bye.